righty. All right, we waiting to go for we start in 2 minutes for our parenting class. And today we're going to be dealing with something called resilience. And in resilience, we want to know what are the things that are impacting our lives. Impacting our lives through what many would call the worst of times. But oftentimes when you think it's the worst of time, it is the best of times. Now, I'm on Zoom, but I'm also on conference call because most of my elderly members cannot do Zoom, or they're still learning Zoom as well as I am learning Zoom. But so if they call in, I've got 2 phone lines that I will be manning. Let me see. I better do it this way. All right, 73.
Call forwarding variable is not active.
Okay, so if they call, they'll be calling in on the church line, and then I've got my own personal line, my office line that they can also call in, and the call-in number is 614-313-6867. But we really want to deal with resilience, the impact in the best of times, and also the worst of times. Hard times, and it very well, I'm going to wait till we get people on. This is our community conversation for change. It's a part of Ministries for Movement. Ministry for Movement is our community organization where we impact the change of the Southside community. And we have branched out from the Southside community from the 43206 zip code and the 43207 zip code. And now we just on social media, because social media has a far-reaching effect more so than just us here on the 43206 zip code. I want to thank God for all those that are going to get on. And we really want to talk about a community conversation for change. Community conversation, and the number 4 in change. And things that we're trying to change. We're trying to change how we address resources. We're trying to change how we address relationships. We're trying to change how we address reviving or staying healthy. And then ultimately how we address redemption. And that is whatever spiritual impact you have in your life, whatever it is, how do you impact that in a community conversation? Okay, so we're waiting and still waiting on others to get on. It is, let me see, it is 11 o'clock now. So it is 11 o'clock. So we're still waiting. And so as they get on, then we'll go into, we get into our lesson. All right. Okay. Looks like Josh emailed you back. Josh emailed you back. Okay. All right. Well, I'm still waiting. Don't look like I got nobody. Okay, I got one, Miss Gwen Phillips. She's in the waiting room. So I have Miss Gwen Phillips on here with us. Good morning.
Good morning, Pastor.
How you doing today? All right, I'm trying to fix this to whereas, oh gosh, it doesn't get in the way. Okay. All right, so right now it's just me and you, but we are recording, so we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Yes, sir.
Let me back up. Uh, okay, I don't know where we left off. Could you help me out where we left off? The best of time and the worst of time. Did we deal with this tonight? Resilience, the impact, the best of times and the worst of
Okay,
times.
we were going to, okay, we had gone past that. You had asked us to kind of talk about what had happened with the situation with Will Smith and Chris Rock,
Correct.
you know, how we
Correct.
handle situations.
All right. Okay. All right. Glad to see you, Miss Vernell.
Hello, hello. I almost didn't realize that you had included Zoom in the text because I just went to the bottom of the text.
Okay. Yeah. I'm really I've got it on YouTube and I'm really trying to do it so people can see it on YouTube. I said, go to our YouTube and you can see what it is about. Really trying to kind of upskill ourselves as far as technology so the other people who are not on the conference call. So we'll go to YouTube and we'll see what it's about.
Right. So are you posting to YouTube afterwards or are you streaming live on YouTube? It's live on YouTube.
Yeah, I'm live.
Yeah, I just saw that. Yeah, it's on my screen. It says
okay.
it. Yeah, I just saw it.
All right. And maybe if I learn how to post it afterwards, then I can do that. But I'm a work in progress.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so we deal with this screen.
We talked about no, we have not dealt with that screen.
Okay. All right. Well, let's okay. The best of times and the worst of times. Okay. Hard times, adversities, misfortune, hard knocks, bad break, difficulties, or divorce, abuse, tough luck, whatever you call it. We are all faced at one time or another. And I think that feeds right into the conversation that we ended up on. And we're going to kind of be going back and forth, but kind of feeds into the conversation that we ended up on with Will Smith, Jada Pinkett, and Chris Rock. And I saw on a TV today that Chris Rock had a stand-up show, and they said the tickets had jumped from like $40 a ticket to over $100 a ticket or something like that, and the people still paid and they still went, you know. And I'm not mad at them because a lot of times you got to maximize the moment. So give me your sentiments. Either of you, give me your sentiments on that.
On what happened?
Yes.
Well, I mean, I'm gonna start with Will Smith should not have hopped on stage and smacked him. Like, he should not have resulted to violence, you know, over what Chris said. Like, that was uncalled for. Yeah, and I think that there was like so many amazing things that were happening that night that he completely overshadowed, you know. It just, the night just became all about this this display, you know, and just completely overshadowing you know, all the other things. Like, I cannot remember if there was ever a time, I don't think there was, but I could be wrong, but I don't remember in ever a time where two Black men were nominated for Best Actor at the same time, you know, and Will Smith and Denzel. You know, and his actions just overshadowed, you know, everything.
Yeah. And it's just what about you, Miss Gwen?
Okay, I didn't see it, and I think that was not the place to take care of that situation, because from what I saw, it showed that Will Smith was actually laughing at first at the joke, and then it looked like he looked over at Jada and she didn't think that it was funny. And so then that was when it looks as though he had to take the position, okay, I'm her protector, and then I have to protect her honor. Because I mean, I know what alopecia is, but I didn't know that she had that. And I believe that if Chris Rock had known that, I'm in the position of talking about it like that. But it was like, it was talking about the G.I. Joe Jane, situation. So, I mean, I don't know, but that's how, I mean, I know he had to protect her honor. And there's other things he could have done. And he didn't have to do that because that just perpetuates the cycle of how they view our Black men. And then when he go up there and then slap the poo-poo out of him, then that appeared to be funny. And it's not to be funny, but who's to say when stuff happens like that, it ends up on Saturday Night Live? I bet you it's going to be on Saturday Night Live this weekend.
And it's going to go down. It's going to go down in history.
Right.
But my concern is, yes, he's her protector.
Mm-hmm.
But to what extent do we go to protect a person's honor? She was not in any kind of danger where he had to resort to violence. Okay, if you're going to come and you're going to try to attack her, I'm going to protect her. But just verbal words, and yes, he's a comedian. And, comedian does that. The best thing he could have said, like, okay, hey, you don't know the situation. I appreciate if you don't use that, address it at my wife, and that could have been handled there. But to get frustrated, go up on the stage and go up to a man,
Black man,
just slap him and then walk off like that's okay.
Right.
I don't know, maybe there's mental issues that they're dealing with. And I heard a lot of talk shows says that there was more to it dealing with Jada and Will than what's on the surface.
It's been a rough year for them. The past year's been rough for them.
Yeah. And when Jada spoke out, she said, it's just a time for healing. So I guess after she revealed what she did on the red carpet talk or whatever, it's been a challenge and they have been separated, so on and so forth. But that's the cost of being in the public eye. When you're in the public eye, everybody, you're supposed to be the role model. You're supposed to be the example. So it causes challenges. Okay. All right. Let me see. I don't see nobody else getting on here. I'm just wondering.
Pastor Lamar, I just want to say one more thing about that. And that is that this is the exact thing that we talk to our children and our students about, is that when you get upset, it's okay to be upset. It's okay to be mad, but it's the behavior that you take, the step that you take next when you get upset will determine, the outcomes. We talk to our children all the time. Well, this situation happens in schools a lot, where one kid strikes another kid over something that they said. Well, no, if someone says something that you don't like, you don't hit them. That's not what you do. You take it up another way. Like this situation happens in schools, on playgrounds, every day, and it just really sets a bad example, about how do you respond when somebody says something that you don't like.
Yeah, but okay, so let me ask this question. How can we get the good out of this? How can we change what looks bad and make it good? What good do you see in this? You, Miss Gwen. Hold on. I got somebody on the phone.
I think
hold on, Miss Gwen.
Outside of Will,
Miss Gwen.
To me, Will needs to make a public apology, I guess, a public apology over, I guess, the platform, and not just on Twitter and not, Instagram, whatever. He needs to make an apology, like when they had that stuff on CNN and all those, he needs to make a public apology, to outside of Chris Rock, but the Oscars, because that taunted that particular Oscar, that day, whatever the date was, that kind of tainted, that from people are not going to look at any previous ones or anything that happened on that stage for their day. They're going to zero in on that. So I think it needs to make a public apology.
Thank you. I've got somebody on the phone line. Who I got on line 1? Hello? Who I got on here?
Is that me?
Yeah, that's you. Who's that I got on the phone line? Line 1.
It's Keisha.
Okay, Miss Keisha. Thank you for calling in. We on Zoom though. Can you get on Zoom? Oh no, this. I don't
know how to get on Zoom. I'm not tech savvy at all.
Okay, do you got Zoom?
I do have a Zoom, but usually people send me like an invite and I just click the button.
Okay. If you go to your Zoom and then you just push Zoom and it tells you to enter the ID, this is the ID number. The number you calling, that's the ID number.
Okay. Can I do that on my computer or on my phone?
Either or, whichever one you got Zoom on. If you got Zoom on your computer, you go to your Zoom and then it says enter meeting ID. That's 614-252-7488.
I'm sending it to her now, Pastor.
Okay, Ms. Gwen says she's sending it to you now.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay, so Ms. Burnell, how do you feel that we can change the good?
I think it is about focusing on what we can learn from the moment. I think the way Chris Rock handled getting slapped, is a wonderful example of how a person can maintain their calm and their professionalism, even when the most unexpected thing happens. He was within his right to strike Will back, to punch him in the face or something to defend himself. He was it would have been all right for him to defend himself, but he chose not to do that. He chose not to touch him. He chose to do whatever he needed to turn over in his mind to collect himself, to maintain his composure.
Okay.
And I think that's an example of what we should do when the unexpected happens. We should try to stay in our right mind.
Yeah. And I think that there is the missing link, because it says, okay, when somebody does something wrong to you, you don't retaliate.
Mother Taylor.
Okay, Mother Taylor, glad to have you on here. Mother Taylor's on line 1. So we're glad to have you on here, Mother. We on Zoom, but you can stay on the phone and just listen in with us.
Thank you.
Okay, Mother Taylor, you got any comments on the misfortune that happened to Will Smith? I mean, not Will Smith, Chris Rock.
Well, my comment is, I think it was wrong, number one, for him to do that. If it had been a different color, he wouldn't have had to. But sometimes we don't go on what we're doing. We go on instinct. Let's do it now. Up and do it now. And I think this is what he's done. And if he had 2 minutes to think, he wouldn't have did that. And when we don't do what we should do, there is great consequences.
Okay. Anyone else? Anyone else want to comment? Okay, I think Keisha's already in. Keisha's in, I think, Ms. Gwen. Okay.
Yep, I think I am.
I think the strong, can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
Okay, we said strong families are the backbone to community structures. How do the individual rebound from a hard time in resources and relationships? I think there's a challenge dealing with the Smith family, and they're trying to rebound, and they probably need to deal with some counseling and whatnot. But I think Chris Rock handled the situation well, because he showed young people, just because somebody hits you, you don't
Retaliate.
Okay. All right. Now, the second outline, strong families are about, okay. How can we identify partners in government to take real action to uplift our communities and address real reform? Okay. I have to go to a meeting today after this class, and a meeting where they want me to pray that legislators take up the reform, and reform as far as in the prisons, as far as an advocate for children. So the legislators will look at legislation, introduce bills to really address some of the problems of those who have been marginalized, those who have been impoverished, and those who are caught up in the system. So how do we identify partners in government that we can address to take a real action? Do anybody know the structure of the government? Do anybody know your legislator? Do you know who your legislator is? Do you know who your state rep is? Do you know what city council, who your city council is? Do you know who the mayor is? Do you have access? Who do you call if you have concern? I know we got, I think it was a 311 number that you call, but do anybody know of any other access where you can call and get information, or you address individuals?
I don't know who to call that.
You don't know who to call? Okay. Anyone else?
I know my legislatures and people only because, well, I'm in a different state. I know who to call if need be, but I think that's only because I'm super nosy.
Okay, well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Don't nobody like nosy neighbors until something happens and they need them to witness.
Right.
We'll talk, Cap.
So that's a good thing. But here's one thing that I do. I invite politicians to the church, and I invite them to the church because the church is the only captivative audience that people will come to without invitations. Without you doing any promotions, they're going to show up. So I invite them to the church, and I address certain questions that the church says, okay, well, here's who's coming. Now, here's why they're coming. Here's what they do. And here's what we can get mileage out of them. Like we've got state reps. We've got state representatives. That's a person in the state house that represents you. Whatever problems you got, whether it's schools, whether it's jobs, whether it's building construction, whatever the problems you have, and you won't change, you talk to your state representative, and they introduce bills that goes into committee, and from committee it goes into law. Okay, so you got state reps, you got state senators, you got city council. City council deals with the city. If you got issues with anything with the city, trash collection, parks and recs, home aging, all those things, you address that with the somebody city council.
Pastor Lamar.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, if people, sometimes our like state legislators get overlooked. We talk about city council, we talk about who's representing us in Congress, but sometimes we don't always focus in on what's happening at the state capitol and what's going on there. And so I just want to remind people that if you don't know who your state legislator is, you can find out. You can go to ohio.gov or ohiosenate.gov, and you can just put in your address and your zip code, and it'll tell you which state legislatures representing your area, and then you can get into what it is that they stand for. What are they trying to do? Are they a person that the community can partner with to help get some things done in the community at the state level? And so I know it's sometimes difficult to find out exactly who those folks are. If you don't see them in your neighborhood, if they're not coming out to your community and showing their face, it's kind of difficult to find out who they are, but they can go on the website and find out.
You can
Okay.
also go to congress.gov also. And it
For
has
the
all
for
the states
the
listed.
federal, for the federal Congress. Can you do that for the state?
Yep, it has. When you go to congress.gov, it lists a map, and you click on your state, and it'll tell you. It has all 50, and it'll tell you each one.
Say that again. Congress.gov.
It'll tell you who represents your state in Congress, correct?
Yep. It'll tell you your state legislature and who everyone is for that. For your state, and then you can go.
Those would be Congress people, correct? Congress people.
Yeah, for like your state legislature, who those people are, and your councilman. Once you click on it, and then you can go into cities and click individual too. You can get all your state and city information off of that website also, along with the ones that you were stating. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. Very good.
Okay. But do anyone know of any community organizations that we can partner with? You know, like I know, do anyone know of any community organizations? Because oftentimes, because I'm not computer savvy and whatnot, I may not know how to go on to congress.gov. And is there any community organization, like grassroots organizations? You know, like I know there's Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. There's that's MAD. There's Mothers Against. There's all kind of organizations. I'm not sure of all of them, but if you know of any organization that you can call, because a lot of times, if you can connect to grassroots organizations, you can get a whole lot more done than trying to deal with people one-on-one and on a national basis, like Ms. Fennell said. So when we look at the steps that we can take to develop inner strength, you got the impoverished, you got the marginalized, you got the criminal legal system, you got poverty, you got crime, violence, addiction, trauma, hunger, and broken families. My question is, do anybody know the steps that we can take to develop that inner strength? Because if I look at each and every one of those that's outlined in red, I could show you how you connect the dots to one influences the other. Because when somebody's impoverished or marginalized, they may resort to criminal activity. In their poverty, they resort to criminal activity, which leads to crime. Crime can lead to violence, and that can lead to addiction and trauma, hunger. And it also, and when they get locked up, when it leads to broken families. So do we know of any community partners that are in collaboration? And I listed one on here, the Heartbeat Movement. And I just heard about them not too long ago. And I think they're the ones that got the thing going on downtown.
I haven't heard of them.
Yeah, I've got a lady, her name is Tammy Wilson. She's running for senator for the 4th Congressional District. And she's part of the Heartbeat Movement, and they got something going on down at the State House. They just want me to come and do prayer. Yeah, so, okay. All right, are there any questions or concerns before we go to the next slide? All right, let me see, okay. Slide. We deal with this. What is our main influences? We deal with the crowd, we deal with the neighborhood, the self, peers. Okay, I've got okay, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, leaders. Now I did hear that there is something going on now where found a Facebook and social media, they got some kind of thing where you put glasses on where you could be in a certain reality. Now that's something new they got going on.
It's called the Oculus. I have one of those.
It's called the what?
It's called the Oculus.
Okay, share with us about that, Miss Keisha.
The phone broke up. Say it again.
Keisha, excuse me. Say it again.
Tell
My
us about it.
computer don't like whatever it is that's being said because it's going.
He said, tell us about it.
Oh, okay. So it's like a virtual reality game. So you put this headset on and your eye it's like you lose touch of reality. Everything you see in this box feels like that's exactly what's happening. And they have games that move, some games that don't. They have exercise games, but it will cause you to be like motion sickness, depending on what kind of games you play. And that's because you're looking at it and your mind thinks that you're moving. Your eyes think that you're moving, I guess, and your mind think you're moving, and your body know you're standing still. So it causes like a diverse reaction with your body and your mind. But outside of that, if you don't play those games, it's amazing.
Okay. Okay. So you said it is taking you out of reality.
Yes.
Okay. Let me try to figure this out.
So Keisha, when you're done playing the game, is that when the motion sickness subsides?
Nope. Nope. So I have a game where you're like walking through this house and you're trying to find things. And I have a problem with motion sickness. So once it starts, it's kind of like morning sickness for us ladies that had babies before. Once it starts, it's kind of, you got to just work through it and get through it. But you feel very nauseous. So I wouldn't recommend anyone getting moving games because it is a play with your brain for real.
Okay. All right.
Okay, Pastor, this is Mother Bork, and I've been trying to class.
Okay, mother, we on the Zoom, but you can stay on my phone now, and we got you on here.
Okay, I'll stay on here. Okay, thanks.
Okay. So I've got Mother Borkins on one line. Line 2, I got Mother Taylor on line 1. I need someone to help me out with all these media outlets. Do you think it's good for us? You think it's good for our children? Because I know Christmas time, we see everyone with, they ain't got a cell phone, they got video games. They ain't got video games. They sit in front of a computer. And I think they said those computers came on like in the 90s, and now everybody got a computer. So, they feel like we can't live without them. Anybody got any comments as far as the computers? Do you think you can do you think you can live without your cell phone?
Yes.
Who says yes?
Me, Keisha. I like house phones. I rarely ever have my cell phone. My kids usually have my cell phone.
Okay.
I don't think I could live without a computer though, because you have to be able to keep up with the flow. You need to know what's going on. You need to be able to access people. Now you can send emails, don't have to send mail. I don't even remember. I think the last time I sent a package was to Gwen. Outside of that, I don't even buy stamps. People send email, pictures, all of that through the computer now. You can call, you can make outbound phone calls, all of that.
Okay, but let me ask this question. So in as much as you can send emails, it is more convenient for you. And I even did it today. I did it this week because instead of putting out 26 stamps for sending out letters, I just emailed it to them. I scanned the letter and I emailed it to them. But that's 26 stamps that I'm not giving to the U.S. Postal Service. And do you think that equates into those postal workers losing their jobs?
Yes.
Who says yes?
Ms. Vernell, I said yes. Because that's how they make money, is by people sending items, packages, letters in the mail. And so the post office is already competing with FedEx and UPS, in terms of sending packages, and so now they're also competing with all these other ways of sending letters, and birthday cards and Christmas cards in the mail. So yeah.
But are you obligated to help other people make money? Is that like an obligation for us? Do we have to make sure the post office makes money off of us?
No, we're not saying that. I'm just asking the question. And the question I'm asking because when I worked for Big Bear, they told me that I should not be shopping at Kroger's. I should not be shopping at Walmart or whatnot for stuff that Big Bear has. Because if I'm getting paid by Big Bear and I'm going elsewhere to spend my money, it's just like what they do in the city of Columbus. They said if you work here, you ought to
You're
live.
echoing. I don't know if it's because is that door open between you and Cousin Glenn?
No, it's echoing because I've got three phones on.
Oh yeah, yeah. Mm.
I got Mother Taylor on one line, and I apologize, but until I learn technology, that's what we've had to deal with. So we should raise the question. Should we have to patronize certain things in order to keep people employed?
Some post office people lost their job because all that undelivered mail.
Because of what?
All that undelivered mail. Did you see that they just got audited? Well, that was a couple months ago, but still, that's what that's from.
Okay, for undelivered mail. And we got an ex-postal worker on here.
I did see that. I saw that where they got audited. It was like 40,000 pieces, and a lot of it was like 34,000 was from the south side, the South Post Office branch. I saw that this morning. I did see that. It was like 42,000 pieces of undelivered mail. And I work for the post office. The post office paid my bills. And yes, I do support the post office. I still send letters. I send Christmas cards, and I do use emails, but I still support, I do send packages. Yeah. So I'm not going to not support the post office.
So you're saying, yes, we ought to patronize and support those so people can have jobs.
Yes.
Okay. All right.
And I would even add too, even more than people have jobs, the post office is the one shipping agency, shipping organization that is funded by federal tax dollars, that is open to everyone to use. It is not a private company, and so I think that our government, our country should have a national network of being able to send packages and letters and communication to other people. FedEx, UPS, those are private for-profit organizations. I think we should have a public nationwide, postal service. So
Okay.
yeah. So when I got to send a package, I'm always going to choose the U.S. Post Office.
Okay. Anybody
Yes,
on
for packages. And I wasn't saying that I'm trying to take away from people's jobs, but for packages, yes. But for mail, though, a lot of times we get mail, like I get mail, I don't even open it. I just throw it. Half of the time it's solicitation and you don't really need it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
But for packages,
Okay.
you can't send it.
Let me hear from somebody on line 1 or 2.
Okay, Mother Boy.
Mother Walker.
Yes, I think the Postal Service, they should do a better job than what they're doing now, because most of the mail, they got not getting the mail delivered, and people are getting behind in their debt on kind of Postal Service is not delivering the mail so they can get the bills on time, so they have to pay late charge. So the Postal Service should do better service. Either we just do email.
Okay. Anybody else? That's line 2. Line 1. Mother Taylor, you on there? You want to say anything?
Mother Taylor.
Go ahead, Mother Taylor.
I have had mail, and I was putting them in my box. I have had mail not reach the person that I was sending it to, and that's been twice. But I was sending funds to them. But I hear the questions and I hear the answers. But I don't know how many people work for the post office. I know all that mail was destroyed, and some was in the bathroom, some every place. But if one child do something wrong, do you whoop everybody in the family? We got to think about that. There is honesty, and this honesty out there. So do you punish honest people when they did something? I don't think.
Okay, let me ask this question to you, mother. And this is just sidebar. If your sister or brother did something and you didn't tell that they did it, would you get punished also?
I shouldn't get punished.
No, they would act. They would act. Would you get a whooping also?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Case closed.
Hey, let me.
No. That was sidebar. That was sidebar.
Okay, yes.
That was sidebar. That's the way. If you with somebody and you know they did something, and you went along and didn't tell that they did it, then everybody gets it.
Everybody gets it.
Okay, thank you. Here's where I'm going with this. We see gas prices going up, and I'm flipping the script right now because of the fact that you can support what you also, you remember back in the bus boycott days, in order to get a message across, they would boycott. You know, here I see now, gas is outrageous and it doesn't make any sense. Okay, but we continue to drive and it's normal. So many could ride the bus and they don't ride the bus. You know, so many, we could pick days, look, you know what, on Sundays and Saturdays, we're gonna carpool, we're not gonna even drive. You know, should there be a collaborative effort in order to get some point across? Okay, if Walmart or Kroger's or Giant Eagle did something against blacks, or did something against Hispanics, or did something against women, or did something against LGBTs, should there be a combined effort to say, you know what, we're not buying from them until they start treating people right? That's the question.
It should be, but getting people to unite is the issue. Getting people to unite to do it. Getting people to say, okay, Kroger is on the corner, and I don't want to drive 5 miles down to Walmart. You know, so you got to it's all about the person itself. If that person has enough drive to want to support the cause, but a lot of time people can't come together and agree, and that is the problem. That's just like when George Floyd got killed here in Minnesota. You know, if the people would have come together and united in a better way, in a better front, and did exactly what you're saying, then a lot of other things would have changed. But the problem is that people are selfish. People are self-centered. People thinking about their situation only. Nobody called me this morning and asked me was they sure to work today. You know, so people are thinking about self. And until people can unite with the same common interest, Reverend, we're not going to be able to do that. Nobody can do that.
Okay, good point. You brought up a good point. So help me understand what has changed today from the 60s. Why are people so selfish nowadays? Somebody other than Keisha. Keisha said people are selfish nowadays. What is it? What has happened today that people are selfish to the point that they cannot unite? Or as Keisha said, they won't unite.
Okay, this is Mother Borkins.
Go ahead, Mother Borkins.
One thing, they don't have love in their heart. All they're concerned about is self and self only.
Okay.
That's it.
Yeah.
Okay. People are just more self-centered and more self-concerned.
Right.
Okay, that feeds right into our slide that we're looking at. Did we already go over this slide? Or do y'all recall going over this slide, serve or not to serve? I sent the slides, it's the third one. I sent it out to everybody, so you should have it in front of you, but if you don't got it in front of you, I got it on the screen. And I got it on the screen because I'm recording this, putting this on my YouTube channel in order to get better participation so people can see what it is that we're doing. So if you would like, just every now and then show your face so people know that you are who you say you are. You ain't just got somebody else's picture up on your screen. All right, but serve or not to serve. Many Black veterans in the Jim Crow South were denied access to aid that they rightfully deserve. Congressman Jim Clyburn and Seth Moulton into benefits that would be given to Black veterans that fought in World War II and were excluded from aid outlined in the original GI Bill. Okay, so there were people who served in World War II that because of their color of skin, they were denied aid in the GI Bill. Not only in World War II, but it was people that served in Vietnam. And one of them is, and I don't want to say his name, but they were denied access to disability. They served in Vietnam. They were caught up into the Agent Orange. Y'all know what the Agent Orange was. Okay, Agent Orange was when they was in Vietnam, and there was so much weeds and everything that they couldn't see the enemy. So the U.S. went and they dropped some kind of orange kind of weed killer. And so those who were in the fields had to cover themselves up with a tarp as they dropped the weed killer, the poison down, and within a matter of a day, it killed all the weed. So you can imagine being out there with pesticides and all that stuff being down there, and you inhaling all of that stuff. So they developed symptoms over the process of the years that they couldn't hear, or whatever the case is, arthritis, whatever the case is. And many of them got benefits, disability benefits, but there was a whole lot that they denied benefits, and it was proven that they denied benefits because of the color of the skin. Okay. So, with all of that, so at what point do we serve? At what point do we speak up? Do we speak up because it's just affecting us? Or do we speak up when we know that there's something wrong that's going on and it affects more than just us?
Mother Borkins?
Yes, Mother Borkins.
Okay, I think we should speak up when we know it's more than just us.
Okay. Okay. So speak up anytime this is wrong. Mother Borkins said speak up. Okay. Anyone else?
I think we should speak up, but I think we should speak up even more when it concerns us.
Okay.
We're the only ones fighting for us.
I know we're going to speak up more when it concerns. Oh, you're talking us being color.
Yep.
Okay. All right. All right. Okay. Let me just go there because of this. When police kill Blacks, there's outcry. There's demonstration, outcry. But when Blacks kill Blacks, there's not that much outcry or demonstration. And you said we should speak up more when it's us. Somebody help me.
The reason why I say that is because, white people kill white people too. So let's not be mistaken about that. White people kill white people, black people kill us. Black people kill black people. But when it comes to like the police killing us, in my opinion, I feel like it's a different situation because a lot of times when you look back on it, there was no cause or it could have been prevented. Okay. You know what I mean? And I think that those times like that are times when we need to advocate more for each other as a people. Yes, I think that public stuff that happens, bad things that happen to people like the war and things like that, we should speak up, of course. But we have to advocate, in my opinion, just a little bit more for ourselves as Black people.
Okay. Okay, let me just go down to the next outline because my time is running. What do you think about the Affordable Care Act and the other social actions to help everyone? What do you think about the fact that whereas now they're talking about, well, here in Columbus, those who work for the city, they got $500 for working through the pandemic. Then they got an extra $500 because they was vaccinated. Okay, but the unions fought against it. The unions fought against it because of the fact that you're vaccinated. So you're saying, if I decide not to get vaccinated, you're giving them more than you're giving me. So they just wanted everybody, I guess everybody across the board to get $1,000. So give me some feedback. Do you think it should be a difference because of those who got vaccinated as opposed to those who chose not to get vaccinated?
Well, Pastor, this is Mother.
Yes, Mother Taylor.
Yes, Mother Taylor. When they do that, my thought is, why don't they give everybody vaccination? Why don't they give everybody? They gonna give it to them, just certain particular.
Okay. Thank you. And y'all do know when there's a class action lawsuit, who gets the most of the money? Does anybody know?
The lawyers.
Thank you. So y'all do know if you got an anytime card and you got charged fees for going to other organizations, there's a class action lawsuit right now to get money, get your money back.
Wow.
Yeah. So if you had like a Chase account and you went to National City and they charge you like $350, there's a class action lawsuit to recuperate some of your money.
Pastor,
Yes, ma'am.
let me ask you a question. What you said, banks and banks. What if I would go to Walmart or Kroger and I need extra money and I always put it in there? It said, do you want money back? Yes. I'll put my card in there. And it'll tell me how much they're going to charge. Do they do it for any store or just bank to bank?
Well, right now, the lawsuit is against the banks.
Oh.
It's against the banks. But I guess we can even stress it that far. But my point is this. When there's a class action lawsuit, how do they determine how much money you're going to get?
It is, from what I understand, with class action lawsuits, it's determined by the number of defendants that there are, and so with a class action lawsuit, in order for it to be classified as a class action, it's got to be a certain number of defendants that were harmed in the same way by the same company. And then from there, lawyers can go out and recruit more people who were harmed. Like periodically you'll see commercials about that. If you were using this product and you got lung cancer, call this number. So they're looking for more people in the public other than the 30 people they know about who were harmed in that way. And so once they locate you, if you choose to join the lawsuit, you can sign on to join the lawsuit. So then once if there's a guilty verdict, or a settlement and the companies are responsible, the lawyers will take their chunk of the money off the top, and then they will divide the rest between all the people who joined in on the class action lawsuit. So if it's not that many people, they may get a nice chunk of money. But if it's 2,000 people who felt like they got harmed by the same company, then they might get $16.50, like, while the lawyers make thousands and thousands of dollars,
Yeah.
Well, also the person who initially started the class action lawsuit, they get more than the other people do also.
Yeah. So, I just think it's a way that they're using people and whatnot. It's unfortunate, but it is. So getting back to the Affordable Care Act and other socialist actions to help everyone, do y'all believe that everyone should have insurance at the cost of insurance going up for? So like, okay, if I ain't got insurance, would all of y'all pay extra that I can have insurance? Do y'all feel that it's okay for y'all to pay extra because I don't have insurance and I can't afford it, for me to have affordable insurance?
I'm okay with that.
That's the question. That's the question.
I'm okay with that.
You okay with it?
I am.
Okay.
Because that could be a relative of mine that can't afford it. So I'm okay. I don't have a problem because I can afford it. So if they can't, then I shouldn't have an attitude about it.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, absolutely. And I would also think that, the Affordable Health Care Act, in terms of the insurance, is generally for people who are working, but are not getting insurance through their job. So for those of us who are getting insurance through our job, most of the time your job is going to have a broker or someone advocating for the company to try to keep those costs down as low as possible. Yeah. But I think one thing I do want to add about the Affordable Health Care Act is that I think the most important part of it was that it made it illegal for insurance companies to drop you when you got sick. That was going on. So someone in your family gets cancer or some other kind of chronic disease, you know, and then the insurance company wants to drop you. You've been paying them health insurance premiums for years, and as soon as you get sick with something, they would drop you, you know, and then it would be difficult to find insurance because of pre-existing conditions. Another insurance company won't take you because of pre-existing conditions. So
Right.
Affordable Health Care Act made all that illegal. I think that's probably the most important part about that.
Okay.
Because
Go ahead.
yeah, no, I was gonna say because for a lot of particularly African Americans, you know, who are not wealthy, they don't have all the money laying around to cover medical bills if they unfortunately have a heart attack or get cancer. And so if they've been paying these premiums, they've been working all their lives and paying these premiums to health care insurance companies, and then the moment they are 65 and unfortunately get cancer, and then the insurance company then wants to drop you because you got sick,
Right.
because they know they're going to have to pay money out. I feel like that's wrong. And I know that African Americans, Hispanics, and other people who are not wealthy were feeling the brunt of that, you
Okay.
know. And
Right.
so yeah, so I'm glad that's illegal now.
Okay, let me ask this question based upon that. If you go into the emergency, you go into a doctor's office and they see you got a certain type of insurance, you've got whatever, I don't know what it's called, Affordable Care Act, whatever, what the insurance is called. Do you think you get sub-treatment? Do you think that they make you wait longer? Do you think they treat you any different than if you got paid insurance?
They absolutely do.
You said they absolutely, anyone else?
Brother Taylor, they
Yes.
treat you different.
They treat you different.
Yeah.
Okay, anyone else?
I agree, treat you different.
So help me understand then, it was for the affordable care, everyone that have the right amount of insurance, but yet and still, if I go in and I'm showing this card, they're gonna treat me different. That's
It's
just
not,
like,
Pastor, it's not that they treat you different. There are certain doctors, I found this out the hard way. There are certain doctors that treat certain insurance. All doctors in the hospital don't treat everyone. That's why the wait is a lot longer. So if you go in there and you have medical assistance, state, county issued insurance, there are specific doctors that treat state, county issued insured people.
okay,
And that's who you're waiting for.
okay, all right. Yeah, and I do know with certain insurance companies, you have to get it pre-approved, make sure that they provide it and whatnot. But here's another question. I'm gonna leave on this question. Should prejudice and racism be put aside in times of national crisis? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I think so.
Listen, before you answer, think about it. Because we're gonna come back Tuesday. Should racism and prejudice be put aside in time of national crisis? Okay, we're looking at we're on the brink of war with Russia.
Right.
Okay, but we're still suffering racism and prejudice here in America. So you saying put that aside, and we all are brothers and sisters right now to go against Russia.
I think so.
I just need us to just hang on to that, and we'll come back to that, because there's a lot of people who saying now that here you over there helping Ukraine, but here's a whole lot of people here in America that you're not helping. Here you're allowing all these Ukrainians to come in, but here when it was the Somalians and oh gosh, the Haitians, I think it was, that wanted to come in, and they get all these who get help. But it's just you pick and choose who you want to help. So we're gonna stop right there. We're gonna come back on that on Tuesday. All right, right now we're gonna go through the pulling of the names. Okay.
Okay, we have Pastor Lamar, Gwendolyn Phillips, Keisha Thomas, Ms. Brunel, Mother Taylor, Micaiah Lamar, Tiffany Johnson was on. I don't think she's on there now.
Go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, and Mother Boykin. So that's 8. Is that what you came up with, Pastor?
If any, has anybody at this, anybody that didn't get called? I got Mother Borges and Mother Taylor, Miss Renell, Micaiah. I got 5. I got 5 on the screen now, which I had 6. And then I got 2 on the phone lines.
So that's 8, right?
Yeah.
Okay, okay.
That's what I got too, Miss Gwen.
Okay, thank you.
All right, let's go. So that's 3 cards.
Okay. Miss Vernell, would you pick a number between 1 and 8?
6.
6. Miss Vernell, would you pick a number between 1 and 8? That's you. You're 6.
Was that me? 6? Okay. So, I always toss mine back in.
I know.
So let's do 2.
Okay, 2 is Mother Taylor.
All right.
Mother Taylor, you a winner.
Thank you. I need some water. It's up at Kroger now.
Okay.
Okay, Mother Taylor, pick a number between 1 and 8, not 6 and 2.
7.
She said
7 is Micaiah.
Micaiah, that's 2 cards for you now.
Mhm.
All right.
Okay,
Pick a number.
yes, please.
4.
4 is Pastor Lamar, gas money.
I go ahead and put my card back.
Micaiah, pick another number.
8.
8 is Tiffany Johnson.
Okay. So I got Mother Taylor, Micaiah, and Tiffany Johnson.
Yes.
All right. Thank you. I appreciate all of you. We'll be back on Tuesday, and we'll be. You know what? Hold up. Yeah, that's right. We be back on Tuesday. No, hold on. Tuesday is revival. I cannot be back on Tuesday. We'll be back on Thursday.
Okay.
Okay.
Thursday.
We got citywide revival. So we won't be on Tuesday. Please share with everybody. We won't be on Tuesday. We'll be back on Thursday, and we're dealing with prejudice, racism, and put aside in time of national crisis. All right.
Can you set my
All
gift
right.
cards aside? I'll be to get them later on this evening.
I don't know what you're saying.
Aside.
Can you set my 2 gift cards aside?
Yes, baby, I will. Yes, ma'am.
All right. Thank everyone. God bless you.
Bye, everybody.
All right. God bless.
Does Mother Taylor have a word?
Oh,
Yes, I have
yeah.
a word.
Oh, announcements. Go ahead.
Okay. Proverbs 15:3. The eyes of the Lord are in every place, keeping watch on the evil and the good. His eyes is in every place,
Okay.
covering everybody, the evil and the good.
Thank you. Thank you, Mother. Anyone else? Any other announcements? Okay. Y'all do know when I sent out the text, who did not get the text? Anybody did not get the text?
I didn't get it. Did you send it to my other phone, Pastor?
I'll check. I'll check. If I did, I'll make sure you get it.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
And also on that text, it said, please share with somebody.
Mhm.
All right. So I just need y'all just to pass it on to somebody else. All right. All right. God bless you. Thank you.
God bless you.
Bye-bye.
Bye, Keisha. Take it off of mute. Take it off of mute.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Bye, Keisha. You was on mute.